You're listening to the Get Rich Podcast. This is not a financial advice podcast. This is a podcast with two friends talking about how to get rich. Thank you for listening. John, I'm bringing an idea this time.
Bring it, Tyler.
All right. I was using the restroom, okay? And I couldn't help but notice you've got a little plug-in thing.
Yes, we have multiple plugins throughout the house to make our house smell good. Yes.
That's kind of my idea, John. We're millennials. It's time to tap into the nostalgic smell market.
So you want to reinvent scratch and sniff?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Didn't that go out of business for a reason?
It's time for a comeback.
Okay. I just want to get rich. Get rich.
Get rich. Get rich.
So I'm gonna start a podcast.
Get rich. Get rich.
How come no one's ever done this?
Get rich. Get rich.
Now it's time to
get rich.
So what? Nostalgic what?
Scents and smells.
Are you being serious right now?
I'm being serious as an idea. Whether or not it's something that we can pull off is questionable, but I think that this is a money-making idea that is going to happen if it hasn't happened already.
Okay. Can you please explain in further detail what you mean by nostalgic smells?
All right, so nostalgia happens to everyone, right? These moments like this, like craving for things from earlier years, earlier times, right? And I think that it could be just a facet of social media that makes it more apparent or more shared, but our generation seems to be more susceptible to this yearning for the past than previous generations.
Yeah, I guess you could say.
I know that everyone sort of gets stuck in their music rut. I don't want to call it a rut, but in their time, right? My parents always listened to the music that they listened to when they were in their 20s or whatever, and that's surely happened to me in some respect.
Yeah.
But we seem to go back more, and companies market to that more. We've got the remade Disney movies. Right?
Yeah, every new movie nowadays is a remake, pretty much.
Exactly, of something from our childhood.
There's a new Twister movie or whatever coming out soon, and so many movies you don't even know were done 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, and nothing taps into your memory and those feelings the way that smells do.
Okay, yeah, smell's supposed to be the most dominant or something, what is it, sense that's the most rooted deeply or something?
It goes into your memory like nothing else.
Okay.
And maybe it's because, we see things all the time and so we're just bombarded visually and same with, our audio experiences, but smells are so unique sometimes that you don't smell it again. And so it's it takes you right back. I don't know why.
Okay. I have a few questions. How will you implement this? You're going to sell a book of smells, a sheet with different smells. Secondly, how would you get the smells? How would you fabricate the smells or construct the smells? Isn't that an engineering, chemical?
So, yes and no. Which of these two questions do you want me to address
Then how are you
first?
going to make money off
Which
of this?
do you want me to address first?
How much are you going to sell these? I want you to just pick one.
That is, look, this is the pitch phase, okay? I don't even have prototype. I've done some research.
Worst idea ever.
It's not.
Worst idea ever.
It's not. All right, so there are lots of different ways that you can extract smells, right? There's a distillation process that you can do.
Yeah.
And
the only info I have on constructing smells is I think I watched a YouTube video where they were making a perfume or a cologne, and it's some laboratory stuff.
That, yes. But I mean, you can take I don't want to call it an essential oil because they're not all oils, but you can take the essence sort of smell from something through a distillation process. So like,
Okay, well, just name one thing. Like, what's a nostalgic smell that first comes to mind?
the smell of perm.
Of what?
The perm smell.
The perm smell?
Yeah. There are listeners right now that just when I say the perm smell, they will know exactly what that is. And it's so hard. Like, we don't have words really to describe smells. They just are.
Yeah.
It's the qualia, I think, or quail, that is the word for it, right? It's this almost indescribable experience of something.
Okay.
It's like you can know everything about the color red, but it doesn't mean you know the color red until you experience it.
But that's a good example and also a bad example because, like, how do you take that and distill it? You need like a physical thing to distill it.
Well, that one's going to be easy because that's already like a chemical thing that, you can probably just buy and, sell in small quantities.
You are going to get
fill
a
the
flammable
room.
product, and then you are going to apply heat to it in a contained container, and you're going to blow yourself up.
No, for the
What's gonna
for the
happen?
perm one, it could just be as simple as getting some of that stuff and putting it in a little plug-in thing. Why
Okay.
someone would want their house to smell like perm, I don't know. But maybe it's like you're really missing your grandma, right? It's her birthday's coming up, and you're like, oh man, this takes me back.
Okay.
I'm just gonna.
Let me just interject, try to make this idea a little better.
It's not.
This idea sucks, but
Is
I will
it-
do my best to pull it out of the garbage.
It's it's an
I don't
idea
think-
that's going to happen.
I think selling individual smells or
Yeah.
individual plugins, don't do that. Sell an array of scents that all come in one thing,
Like a flight.
like
We could sell flights.
nostalgic smells of the 90s, of the 80s.
Cigarette smoke. If cigarette smoke does not take you right back to the 80s and 90s and 70s, and if that doesn't take
Remember
you back,
eating in restaurants where
Cigarette
people
smoke.
could smoke?
and it's like you could sell you could smell 2 or 3 different flavors of cigarette smoke,
Yeah.
because
Cigarette. That'd be
That's-
easy to do. You just blow
could.
cigarette smoke on a bunch of stuff.
yeah,
Call it
'Cause-
nostalgic smells.
because there's the smell of a cigarette that's burning.
I'll have to enlist my brother to help out with that.
There's the smell of like cigarette smoke now, which has a smell, but then there's the smell of that like years old cigarette smell.
Oh, like
like
you
that
go into someone's
stale-
house who's been smoking
Yeah.
for decades in there.
It's a different smell completely.
It is.
But it's also so unique that it could take you back to a time. I mean, you can't hate on that aspect of it.
It's awful. It's an awful like
It's
it would
not-
take you. Okay, who would? Nobody's gonna buy this.
I think the fact that scratch sniff was a thing shows that people will buy it.
But since it's no longer a thing,
I think
shows that
you can-
it's not a. It wasn't a good thing.
You can still buy scented markers. That's a thing.
Okay, now we're gonna sell markers for people to sniff. Is
Sure,
that a
why
thing
not?
We should do.
Yeah. And again,
Kids, don't sniff markers. Don't eat markers.
why would you? No one's eating those markers.
If you're wanting to smell it and think it smells good, the next logical step
The
is to taste
smell-
it, to eat it.
Of potpourri. I haven't smelled real potpourri in a long time.
Yeah, that's true. My grandma used to have a bunch of potpourri. Do you remember those little potpourri crowns that people would have in their car?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those. Everybody call back to the people who are 30 plus years old.
Mothball smell. That's not a good smell.
I never smelled
But it
that.
also like
This is an awful idea. It's funny.
the smell of like that warm rubbery like car seat.
Yeah, that like that old
Yeah.
kind of, that's a smell. You know, they always talk about like a new car smell. We got
Yeah.
that old car smell.
The old car smell. I smelled something the other day that smelled like Vicks. Like the
Okay. Was it Vicks?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
but again, it like instantly I said, "Wow, this takes me back to being a sick little kid."
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like a bad memory, but, it takes me back to
Exactly.
childhood.
Since you want to try to make money from this preposterous idea, let's just use you as a test subject. Are there old nostalgic smells you would like to smell? Would you buy your own product that you are offering? And if so, which one?
Would I buy a perm smell?
Yeah.
Would I buy a cigarette smell?
Yeah.
No.
No.
No, I wouldn't. But maybe that's not the way to think of this. Hold on. Maybe,
You all right there?
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe, okay, it just hit me. It just hit me because this is a thing that happens.
Okay.
Okay, smells are already being used. I remember it was like 2000s. There was some Japanese company that was like trying to recreate smells
Okay. Probably
So-
like chemically in a laboratory
using different chemicals. So
Yeah.
it's like smell.
stuff you would not have access to.
Yes, but here, just
Okay,
follow
sorry,
me down
sorry.
this path. Okay,
I'm following you.
smell is already like our least understood sense, right? Everything else we can trick and make happen and do different things, but smell is tricky.
Okay.
Okay. So there was this company back then who made a little thing that they, were talking about. You can mix different components and create the illusion of smells, basically.
Okay.
Okay. And, in my research, there were different products that one of them almost really came to market called the eye smell. And it was back in like early 2000, right? Like 2001, something like that. I'll put links. I've got links. And their idea was like, you have all these little cartridges that you put in the thing and it can recreate smells for you. So if you're like watching a movie, poof, it can make you smell a scene.
Oh,
If you go to a website, it can give you a smell for that website like every time you go.
it's the long
A smell of an email.
smell-o-vision was what it's been called.
Yeah,
and
and
it's
that-
never took off and never was a thing really.
that never really took off. But they still do it in theaters.
I know
where
they'll
they
shoot like little blasts of air at you when like a monster's roaring at the screen or something.
Yeah,
Make that air stinky.
Yeah, the theater experience, right, is already trying to incorporate lots of different things to make you feel more there, more present.
Yeah, they'll have the rumbling
chairs,
seats. Yeah.
the air, like you said. Imagine, who's the guy that does all the movies with the yellow? They're always yellow. Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson.
Tell
Great
me-
movies. If you've never watched Wes Anderson movies, you should.
Yeah, but tell me that a Wes Anderson movie doesn't smell like stale cigarette smoke.
He usually
Right?
does that time period.
So it's like, boom, you walk into the theater, the movie starts
how are you
right
gonna,
there. Right there. It just wafts through the theater.
You could just pay someone to be smoking a cigarette while in there.
You can't do that in
Or-
theaters anymore.
How are you gonna like make it not carcinogenic though, or something? If you're using like actual cigarette smoke.
I'm the pitch man right now.
okay, yeah, you're just pitching.
Okay.
But before
I'm
you
building something.
you pitch your tent more, let's it's time for a commercial break. I think it's your turn. Oh, sorry, I pitch your idea more.
And now a quick word from this episode's sponsor.
Namaste, everyone. It's Brother Bodhi again, wanting to let everyone know a new offering from my family. Besides just mushrooms, we now offer plants of all kinds. Monstera, tulips, lilies, and other medicinal varieties. We offer freshly rooted cuttings, as well as all various stages of potted development. Big pots, small pots, large pots. We have all the pots that you could ever want. The availability of medicinal plants depends on your state of location. Check local laws and regulations before placing an order, please. Namaste.
And we're back.
I think that is the perfect example. A theater Wes Anderson movie.
Reeking of cigarette smoke.
stale cigarette smoke. And that is an experience.
Let's try to focus on smells that are in everyone's memory from the 80s, 90s, like
Play-Doh.
that they would want.
Play-Doh.
Play-Doh. That's a good Play-Doh.
Yeah.
Okay, Play-Doh. Trying to think of like the smell of like church back in the day used to have a smell.
I mean, that's different for everybody.
Restaurants, not counting the cigarette smoke,
That's a
but there was that
key
that
part
smell of like
of a restaurant.
being at the Pizza Hut buffet,
That was one of them that I thought of. Yes, the
Right.
Pizza Hut buffet.
and it was a
Had a
mix
smell.
of like pizza plus the cleaner they use.
And like the weird musky like smell of carpet or something.
they
where it's
had
like,
carpet and like that vinyl rubbery seat, you know.
which I said earlier.
Yeah. But that's like you'd have to get so many different smells and try to put them together.
Look, they're still working on this technology. They are.
And
They-
you will perfect it.
It's not about
with your
perfecting
chemical
it.
engineer degree.
It's about coming up with these ideas. Okay?
Ooh, I had an idea. Using it like medically.
Okay.
Coma patients.
Okay. That's a good idea. That's a legitimately
that's why I'm
good
here,
idea.
folks. I make into gold.
Are you trying to add more sensor beams? That's a
talking
good
the way
idea.
I talk, man. Sorry, Mama, if you're watching.
Yeah, so
Love you.
yeah, because
Like,
you're trying to
They're trying
in
to
some ways coax.
pull them out of the coma.
Yeah.
You find out maybe a brand of cigarette they used to smoke, or their parents used to smoke,
Yeah.
or cologne from the past, or just we can introduce smells of the past to them while they're in this state of being in a coma.
Yep.
Maybe it'll like jolt their brain. They'll pop out. We're saving lives then, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I was also thinking of it in terms of like a mental health setting where it was like, you know, exposure and desensitization,
Okay.
or you know, there are different types of therapy like EMDR where they try to slowly like take you back to those moments where something happened and then work through the
Yeah.
trauma so you could like
Enhance it with the smell.
yeah, if it's not too much. And it could be too much.
Okay.
Because again, the power of smell. So I think, I don't know, man. There's so much potential. Everyone's trying to do things that smell good. Everyone's trying to make a perfume. Everyone's trying to make, you know, a home smell that is fresh and it's clean and it's blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But it's not take me to a place.
Yeah.
You know,
They're trying
take me to a time.
good smells. You want to have memory smells.
Yes, the smell of you know, the Chuck E. Cheese playset, you know, which is kind of a stale pea and vinyl smell, but still.
Freshly opened crayons.
Crayons. That was actually one that I saw. I actually, in my research, I did a little.
Oh, you did a ton of research on this. Yeah.
Does it show? It
Yeah.
shows, right? Yeah, they. Someone else said crayons on a Reddit thread
Okay.
because people talk about what smells take you back to your childhood.
Crayons. Any like old candies or snacks.
The thing is that it's different for everyone.
Yeah,
Right.
which would make it like a hard thing to mass produce.
It not really, because you could just do so many different smells, and then just scatter them out there. You know, like you're just sowing the seeds. You know, this is memory smells. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know how you would brand it. I don't know that yet,
I think a good thing to do with like smells of the 80s, the 90s.
and just brand it that way.
Yeah, and then have a multitude of
set.
scratch and sniff
5
or
or
like
10.
pill and sniff.
Like that's how we send out the samples.
Yeah, samples. Now you want to give away free
Well, I
smells.
mean, if it's
you
just a
gotta,
small
you gotta
thing-
have money smells. All the smells you need to get money for giving the smell.
Yeah, but you know, you send out a sample pack, and you're like, this is our collection of smells of the '90s. Which one do you want to order for your home?
Why would they then buy them if you already gave them for free?
Because there's just a small thing. You get a scratch
Will it
and
like
sniff, you gotta
run
get-
out?
Yeah, a scratch and sniff runs out, and you got to get real close to those to smell them. But it's like now you can sample the smell, so that now you know what to get in your air things
Okay.
that you plug into the wall.
Yeah. I mean, I could potentially see like a thing where people could request smells hey, my wife's grandma just died. Her, perfume she wore every day was X.
Yeah.
They don't make it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please, can you replicate it or send me like a card that's in her grandmother's handwriting with this smell on it?
I think you're more on board with this idea than you want to be.
Again, I'm trying to make into gold here.
You're giving great examples of when it would be useful.
I'm trying.
At a memorial service.
I'm doing my best. This is a partnership. I'm trying to pull my weight here.
on birthdays of the deceased.
Yeah. What was their signature smell? We will replicate it. We will send it to you.
Yeah. And that's a tough thing. I mean, I've thought about that.
People pay top dollar for that probably too.
I've thought about that for myself, just personally. Side note, what should be my signature smell? Like, don't you ever think about that? Like, I need to know that
I don't.
You go through and you try. I don't wear cologne, but every now and then I think I should.
It would just be your deodorant smell, wouldn't it?
That's all I've got right
with your
now.
Shampoo, maybe.
That's all I've got. So it's like, all right, he's like, Pure Sport Old Spice. That's
not a sponsor.
That's his smell.
I don't know. Let us know in the comments if you think this is a good idea or not.
What would be your smell? No,
let us, or what would be a smell you want to smell from your past that you no longer have access to.
And John's wrong. This is a great idea.
It's an idea.
It's a great idea. People would pay for it. Movie theaters would pay for it. They're working on the technology to improve it, so you don't have to actually like get a bunch of old cigarette butts. It's happening. Let's get on the ground floor and figure it out.
Let's figure it out, man. Let's save lives with smells.
It's a good idea.
Thanks for listening to the Get Rich Podcast. Go to our website, getrichpod.com, or email us at jnt@getrichpod.com to let us know what you thought about an episode or to submit episode ideas. If you really want to support us, subscribe to our Patreon. You can find us at patreon.com/getrichpod. Subscribers will have exclusive access to vote on ideas we try, access to videos of us doing the ideas, as well as weekly bonus content. Thanks for listening.